I am back at this property for a few days. I have some business to take care of in the area. It's a several-hour drive from where the coast property and the ranch is to here. It's a little bit of a big deal to make the trip. Before I left, I didn't get around to milling up this trailer load of small Douglas fir logs. While I'm here, might as well get these taken care of. A question is it worth the time to mill these small logs? For what you get out of them, for the time it takes to mill them up, is it really worth it? Well, today I want to try to keep track of the time it takes to mill these logs, see how much I get out of them, and see is it really worth it? These logs have been sitting out in extreme dry heat for several weeks. They have a lot of end checking, not check. They're cracked on the end. Since I had an idea they might sit out for a while, I cut them extra long so I could cut those checked ends off. These end pieces could be firewood. This one's about 6 3/4 on the small end. Okay, I got 5, no I didn't, I got 4 1x5s, really nice 1x5s, and one 1x4. Comes out to about $24 for what I've sold this kind of wood for. A little bit high for right now because price of lumber is really low, Douglas fir lumber, but I can get that eventually out of these. $24, took me 14 minutes to buck the ends off and mill these. We'll round it up to 15 just to make the math easier. It's always good to make the math easier. It took a little bit of time to roll the log off the trailer. We'll be a little bit conservative here. $24 in 15 minutes comes out to, I think, $96 per hour. Seems like not bad wages, but there's more to it than that. I would say let's cut that into a third. $30, $32 an hour. Because take another third of that to go cut the tree down, bring the log to the mill, then another third taking the lumber, stacking it, and eventually selling it. That takes time too. I don't know what those exact ratios are, but if you have a situation where you have a place where people can come get the lumber, pick it up, and then leave, it might be lower than that. Your selling costs might be lower. In my case, when they made this property, they forgot to put the people here. There are no people here. If I want to sell lumber, I have to haul it somewhere, haul it into town. For me, it's at least a third of the time is selling the lumber. But let's say $30 an hour to mill up those 6 3/4 inch diameter logs. Of course, there's going to be some expense to running the mill. So instead of $32, we'll say $30. That $2, I don't think I used $2 in expense to cut that log, but we'll go with that. One of the nice things about this LT15, it costs so little to operate it. Low maintenance, and this thing sips fuel. There are a lot of jobs where you can make more than $30 an hour, but in those jobs, you get to spend your time out in the woods playing with your sawmill. That's worth something. These are, of course, very, very rough numbers. But that small of a log, 6 3/4 inches diameter, is a little bit of a worst case scenario. Let's try a bigger log, see what that one comes out to. This one is 9 inches on the top end. Blach, smoke's rolling in. It was clear this morning, but Oregon and Northern California are on fire. Huge fires going on right now. This is why I evacuate and go to the coast during the summer. This is just becoming normal here. At least we've had a little bit of a cool down. It's in the upper 90s the last few days instead of 100 to 112. I'm glad I have my Camel City Mill American-made merino wool socks on, keeping my feet cool. I wish I could hire them to make the rest of my clothes. Then the rest of me can be as comfortable as my feet. I'll put a link to those in the description. Out of this one, I got 6 really nice 1x6s, 2 really nice 1x4s. That's $46 of wood. Took me 21 minutes to get it from log form to right here. The $46 per 20 minutes comes out to $138 per hour. Just like the first one, we'll divide that by 3 because a third of that goes to the logging, a third of that goes to the time and effort selling the lumber. We're left with $46 per hour for just the milling, minus a little bit for expenses running the mill. What do we say, $30 per hour for the smaller log, $46 minus a little bit for the larger log. Let's do an even larger log. This is the butt log to that last one. Just under 10 inches on the top end. Got 7 1x6s, 2 1x5s, and 1 1x4. Comes out to $56. Took about 30 minutes to do all of these. I was a little slower on this one, I think because I did the flitches individually. This one had more flitches. If I was to do more logs at a time, combine the flitches together, I think I would have saved more time on that. The $56 for a half hour comes out to $112 per hour. If I divide that by 3, that is when we divide that by 3, it comes out to $37 per hour because a third of that goes to the logging, a third of that goes to selling the lumber. Still a little bit better than the really small log, but we did better on this one. It's getting so hot and smoky, I'm going to quit for the day. We'll pick this up again in the morning. All right, it's tomorrow already. It's a little less smoky today. There are no fires close to here. It's blowing in either from somewhere else in the state or maybe California. I'm just going to continue to set the camera in one place, no fancy camera angles. I'm going to knock the rest of these out as quick as I can, see how much we get out of them and see how long it takes to get it. Look at that, the logs are all gone and the smoke is rolling in again. Actually, the logs are not gone. I just turned those circles into squares. Before you say, those aren't squares, they're rectangles. Rectangles are a form of a square. 4 square sides. I ended up with $610 worth of lumber, based on what I've been getting for lumber. Took me 6 hours, 15 minutes to mill all of this. Comes out to just under $90, no, comes out to just under $100 per hour. We'll round that down to 90 to account for expenses. That time included a blade change, it included stopping to put fuel in the saw, and time between logs to go get a drink of water because it is freaking hot out here. $90 an hour milling this lumber, but we need to divide that between logging and selling the lumber. Take a third of that, give that to the time I spent logging to get the logs. A third of that time is going to go to my time spent selling the lumber. We're left over with about $30 per hour just for the milling. It came out a little bit lower than what we were doing before. I think that's because some of those last logs, well, maybe the last half or so, were dirty and I had to spend some time cleaning them up. The first ones we did were freakishly clean. Those went fairly quickly. So $30 an hour to run the mill. That doesn't leave anything left over for the value of the logs. I'm only getting paid for my time. I'm not getting paid for my timber by doing this. But these were low grade logs that the mill would hardly want them, if at all. I wouldn't expect them to be worth much. $30 an hour, I think that's about twice what people are getting paid to work fast food. And I was able to find out with these small logs, I'm cutting about 64 board feet per hour. Why am I not milling every day so I can make $30 an hour? One of the reasons, people are not exactly beating down my door to buy lumber right now, especially not for the price I'm getting for it, which is high, very high compared to what you can get lumber for in the stores right now. I really should be lowering the price if I want to move a lot of lumber. But at that rate, I might only be making $20 an hour. Keep in mind, this $30 an hour is to mill up very small, very low grade logs that most people probably wouldn't even bother with on a mill. Bigger logs, you're probably going to make a lot more money. If you have a higher dollar wood than what Douglas fir is going for right now, factor that in. If you're looking to get rich by running a small sawmill, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, it's not likely to happen. But if you really like running a mill, you can make money running a mill. In this market, probably not very much. Here, with this lumber. I have to factor in my opportunity costs. Should I spend my time milling up lumber that people don't really want very much right now, or making videos about things like swatting mosquitoes with sticks? Well, lately I've been making a lot of videos. Which reminds me, I should apologize to a lot of the viewers on this channel. I have been really bad lately about getting back to comments. I have so many comments now, it's hard to keep up with them. I've been debating whether to start doing a live stream, maybe once a month or even once a week if they do well, just so I can interact with the audience. That's something I miss being able to do when I was only getting 5, 10 comments a day. But I appreciate the comments, keep them coming. What I don't appreciate is this relentless heat and smoke. Okay, here it comes, the sales pitch. What I do appreciate is these Camel City Mill socks I've been wearing. All American made, merino wool. They keep my feet cool. Well, not cool, that would be silly to say they're cool, but they keep my feet comfortable even in this extreme heat. This heat is really putting them to the test. I'm about to just throw out all my other socks. I put on other socks and I wear them for a couple days because my other ones, these camel ones, are dirty. Then I put these ones on after wearing those. Sometimes I smile when I put them on. A while back they said they were going to send me these ankle socks, these really low socks. I was thinking, okay, I'll take them, but I'm just not excited about that. I don't wear ankle socks because I don't like low shoes, except for maybe in town when I'm doing something. I like high top boots. It keeps all the sawdust, the grass seeds, and everything out of my socks and boots. But I started wearing these low ankle socks with just low top shoes. That has been so nice in the hot weather. I don't usually wear low top shoes, but this makes me want to wear low top shoes like I am now. They would not be good working out in the woods, but here at the mill on this hot day, it's been nice. I've had to deal with a little bit of sawdust, but the ventilation, the cooling has been nice. I'll put a link to those in the description below. I'm gonna get out of this smoke and heat and nastiness. It's stupid.